still dance when that music plays. I have something I want to share with you guys. All right, hold on. I got a surprise for you guys. Not a surprise. Something that I want to share. My phone. Okay. So I was gonna do this later, but I said I might as well go ahead and do it while the iron's hot because I just said I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do it. So I'm trying to wait for her to get on here. Somebody I want you guys to listen to. When I got off the live, we started talking about it, and I want to share something because I think that it will help you guys, help people. So the last live we were talking about limitations, how that we put them on ourselves and different things like that. We talked about Pinocchio. Go back and watch it. We talked about a lot. And so I was talking to Anastasia, and I was saying how it was a couple things, but one thing was, and she's gonna come on here in a second. I was being silly, and I said something, and I said, I'm sorry. I said, wait, I'm not sorry. And I had a tendency for me personally to say I'm sorry when I'm extra, because people in my life have made me feel like me being extra is like too much, like you're doing too much, calm down, you're doing too much. And so once I realized that it wasn't my extraness that was too much, it was that it made them uncomfortable. Like it's fine for me, you just want me to be more like you want me to blend in, and I don't blend in. And so you might hear me heard me say before, like when I'm doing something, I'll say, I'll be silly that I say I'm sorry. I say, no, actually I'm not sorry, that's just who I am. And that's me retraining my brain to stop apologizing for doing what people consider to be extra. Okay. And so we were talking about that. And then we were just talking about different things. And so I'm waiting for her to pop up here so we could tell her story. But I need you guys to do something for me. But I know y'all was going to do it anyway. But I need to do something for me. I'm waiting for her video to pop up really quick. I'm sure she'll be ready in a second. Let's see. And I wanted her to share something with you guys because I feel like when she told me, I was like, oh my God. And when you guys hear it, you're going to say, oh my God. Any day now. Any day now. She's going to pop up here in a second. And I want you guys to hear a story that she told me. But it really goes into when we were talking about limitations, the things that, we've had happen to us, or different experiences, or things people have said, or like society or culture or parents, whatever. And it really does guide your decisions. And so I heard a quote. It said, you can't live in the future if you keep looking in the past, and your past only stops you if you stay there. You can't drive a car looking through the rear view mirror. You will crash, right? But a lot of us do that. We determine what we can do based off of what we have done, right, in the past. So we say, based on what I have done, this is all I can do. And so here she goes. Oh, that's my sugar booger. Hey, that's my sugar booger baby. Y'all know I got all babies. This baby though, she my sugar booger. So we were talking. I was talking about our conversation that we had, and I just wanted you to share it with them because I felt like it will help set some people free from their bondages of the mind.
How far did you get?
I didn't tell them your story at all.
Oh, okay.
First, before we start, isn't Annie so pretty, y'all? Ain't she so cute? That thing just is cute. Y'all follow her on social media. When you follow her, so you can see her pictures. And then sometimes she come over. I ain't tell you. Sometimes she come over here. I was be all fly, and I be like, "Hold on, where did she get this from?" I was like, "Hold on, where did she get this from?" Because she be standing me up sometimes, y'all. I be like, "Hold on, you know how you go with that friend that look real cute, and you like, man, I should have dressed up." Like that's Annie. So
okay,
Annie,
you're making me blush.
Decked out, and I be like, "Why you ain't tell me we were supposed to be fly today? Like you should have told me this is a fly day. Now I have to like get myself together first of all. But yeah, all right. So I want Annie to tell her story. So after you tell your story, I'm gonna add my little piece on. But I want you to tell your story. You told me.
Okay, so the backstory is I've been having some revelations about myself lately. And what helped with that was I went out with a cousin and we were talking about insecurities and issues and the way your mind works and things that she actually needed to get over. And I shared with her that I filterize, my own word, I filterize all of my pictures when I post on social media. So all of my videos, I love doing my affirmation videos. And when I started doing them, it was actually because one day I woke up and I felt like somebody needs to hear what I'm thinking because it might help someone. My very first video I just went to go record it. And when I played it back, I didn't like what I saw. Didn't like what I saw at all. So I started using filters. It was more of a natural filter, but needless to say, it was still a filter. It wasn't my natural face. And she looked at me and her exact words was, "What the H is wrong with you?" And I'm like, I don't like my freckles. I look in the mirror sometimes and I don't like what I see. So she asked me why. And when I was 7, I say 10 for some reason, 6. When I was 7, my mother told me to go take a bath. I went and took a bath, and when I was done, she called me into her room, and she looked at me and she was like, "Well, what are you doing? You didn't wash up." And I said, "Yes, I did. I just got out the bath." And she took a washcloth and she massively scrubbed my face. Massively scrubbed my face. I had a scratch on one side of my face that was starting to bleed, and my face was beet red, and I'm crying, and she's fussing at me like, you should have washed your face in the bathtub. And I'm like, I did wash my face. And after what seemed like forever, could have only been 10-15 minutes, it seemed like forever, she looked at me and said, "Oh, it's just your freckles. Go to bed." And I remember crying myself to sleep. And as an adult, I'm now self-conscious about my freckles. I can't even say I remember because I realized in having the conversation that I just do not connect with what I see in the mirror. And her challenge for me was the beginning of the year, my videos, I have to stop using filters. I have to record all of my videos fresh. And I paused and I looked at her and was like, "I can't do that. What do you mean? No filters? That's a thing for me? No, I'm not doing that." And then she just looked at me and shook her head. And yesterday, when I went to go record my videos, I usually read my affirmations before I record them to share what I want to say with other people. For some reason, and I always feel like things happen for a reason, I didn't read it yesterday. I started to read it as I was talking, but the very first video I started recording, I was speaking about what happened with the fact that I don't like my freckles. And I was like, well, I need to start from today. There's no reason. I'm not the person that believes in cliches. There's no reason to wait till January 1st to say, here's a revelation or New Year's resolution. No. I said my New Year can be any day I want it to be. My start over is when I say this chapter is closed, let me go somewhere else. And yesterday that chapter closed for me, and I said, I'm just going to record this with no filter. But I shared what happened because I have to internally reflect in order to feel like I can do what I'm called to do, which is help other people. And I realized that looking people in their eye was a huge, huge problem for me because I felt like when people looked at me and stared for a long time, they realized my face was dirty because they were looking at my freckles. So at 34, I didn't like making eye contact, but I took in public speaking classes. I've taken narrative writing classes. I know you're supposed to give people eye contact all the time. But for me, when people give me eye contact internally, I'm doing this because I don't want people to look at my face. So, yeah. So I'm taking the filters off.
You might sugar the booger. So I wanted Anastasia to share her story because first of all, when she told me, I was like, "Oh my god, you are freaking beautiful," and I was like, you know how some people you think, "Oh, they're pretty." No, Annie is freaking beautiful, and I was just like, "How can you even think that you're not pretty?" You know, and but it goes back into the things like that happen to us, you know, as you know, growing up in society and parents and cultures, and you don't even realize sometimes because you just go through, you know, autopilot, and you don't even realize that you have a limiting, you know, trait, a limiting behavior. You don't even realize that what you're doing is because someone told you that, you know, and then you're operating out of this limited stance, and you don't even realize that you're limited. Like in your mind, and then what I told you, I said your limitation becomes your reality.
Yep.
And
Your
you
altered reality.
not pretty. And I'm like, I'm sitting here like, Annie, yo, you're freaking beautiful. What are you talking about? And you're like, no, but it's the lens that you put on. The lens that you put on is that, oh, I'm not pretty. But that's because someone told you that. And so you have to constantly be in a state of, you know, reviewing, like, why do I do these things? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why do I think this way? Everything, every thought that we have comes from somewhere. Every action that we take or don't take comes from something. And so you have to really, anytime you experience any kind of negative feelings, whether it's fear or if it's you're not feeling good enough or things like that, it comes
Insecurities.
from insecurities. You have to deal with that. You got to go in and you got to say, where did this come from? That's the only way you're gonna let it go. That's the only, because I can tell Annie she's pretty all day, but if she don't think she's pretty, then you know it's not.
It isn't gonna matter. Yeah, it has to come from
okay.
within.
That's like I could be telling one of you guys like, yo, y'all could really make six figures, but if you've always seen poverty and you know in your mind you're like, I can't really do that. It doesn't matter what I say, right? It doesn't matter what I say. I could sit out here all day. We could sit out here all day and you know preach and go crazy. But if you can't change the thought process in your mind, which starts with realizing where it came from, how did I get to this point? You know, how did I get to this place where I have this limit? I'm trying to think. I had just had a revelation for me, and I'm trying to figure out where that came from. I went, where I think that I tell you, I think I told you about this one. I'm trying to think of
You hid something for me?
not hid. I just had I hadn't finished processing it. I'm trying to make sure it's appropriate before I say it. Junior and Isaiah, go that way. I'm on a live.
Thank you guys.
Did you see their chats? They all said you're beautiful.
They are. Thank you.
You are. I'm ready to punch you in your jaw.
But this goes back to the reason with my affirmations, though. Like on my affirmations, I try to share like the motivation I've heard, or like, you know, I started listening to ET, listening to like every morning Will Smith motivations, TD Jakes, a lot of different things. And one of the things that was mentioned was your life reflects your inner thoughts. So you can't put out there in the universe. Basically, most people think that those affirmations and manifestations for what you deserve comes from just what you say. And they don't realize it has a ton to do with your inner thought process, because it's the first thing you hear is your thoughts. You're the first person that dictates the way your life is gonna go. So while I'm expelling positivity or saying something internally, I'm telling myself, you're not worthy because you're not beautiful enough, or your face looks dirty, or somebody else may be saying I'm too fat, or they might be saying, so my hiccup, maybe I say the last year has been like the epiphany wake up call. But beyond like backtracking from that, I will always be able to motivate people. I will always tell people how their life can be great and this is what you should do and go this direction. My problem is that inside, I would be like, damn, if only excuse me, you know, I slipped. If only I could do that. Or if my life could be, or one day maybe. I was limiting myself. I was telling the universe, don't give me what I deserve. Don't give me anything, because I wouldn't know what to do with it. or I would not appreciate it because I would doubt it. So I would self-sabotage it in person, in my life, and in my thoughts. I would self-sabotage it because in the background I'm telling myself that I wish I could, I wish I would, but I'm never really going to get there. You're just meant to help other people, but I can't truly help someone without internally helping myself and getting to that place of realizing that not only are you pretty freaking dope, you are beautiful. You do deserve it. You are worthy. And those manifestations and those affirmations that you tell yourself, you have to know that it's real in order to know that you're going to get it back, because you can tell somebody something all day. People lie to themselves all the time, but you have to know what it is that you're worth and what it is that you deserve. Because if you don't do it, you can't expect not just the universe, you can't expect others to believe what you're putting out there. You can't expect others to buy or to take in what you're saying when you don't believe it yourself. So how you're going to get to that point? I can say I'm a boss, but if I don't believe I can be a boss, guess what? You always gonna be somebody's employee. You just gonna have wish and hopes and dreams, and that's it.
Wish and hopes and dreams. And I think too, that I think I would encourage everybody to go on and it's not something that you just do one time.
No.
It's something that you consistently do. Go on like a self-reflection, like
Yes.
an inner questioning of, who I am and what am I doing. And I can tell you that every couple of days I have a new revelation about me. And what I do. I can tell you this is not the one, I'm gonna tell you the other one, Annie, on the personal side, because it's a little personal, but one relation I had probably like a couple months ago was that I always got, so like if there's ever like fighting or yelling, like fighting and yelling, but like people are really intense, I get really, I don't want to say anxious, but I get really scared. My heart starts beating, and it's just like, right?
That's anxiety.
Right? Yeah, I get like an anxiety. And I never thought about that. I just somewhere everybody must have this, right? But then I started to think, as I started doing counseling, things like that, I realized that came from my childhood, because I grew up in a house where there was a lot of violence. And it was just like, right? And so now, I mean, it doesn't have to be violence with me. It could just be someone fighting in the street. And I'll be like it's like, and I was like, why do I do that? And now that I know where it came from, now I can, deal with that and like get it to where it's like, okay, why do you have these emotions? How can you change them? Things like that. But it's like something as small as that. It's like there's things that you do every day. It's another thing, something that I had to learn. I'm not gonna save this live because I don't want this to be replayed. But I didn't grow up in a household that was very
nurturing,
physically affectionate. Like we didn't really show physical affection, and I never thought that was a thing. I didn't think it was a bad thing until I forgot how it was brought to my attention. But I realized
I shared that with you.
I did.
No, I'm saying I shared that it was the same thing for me. I thought it was normal. I thought this was just how things were supposed to be. My mother wasn't nurturing.
And then I started being around,
but she wasn't nurturing.
I started being around people who were nurturing to their children, and I realized one day, I think I went somewhere and that all the families were together, and then one day I went to my daughter, like recently, probably like a year or two ago, and I went to give her a hug, and she was like, and I realized I used to do the same thing, right? And I realized that I was doing the same thing to her that was done to me.
Done to you.
Yeah, like I wasn't very physically affectionate. And so when I was about to do it, I realized I had not done that this whole time. And I had to go back into myself, why was I not like this? And so now it's different, and now we can change it. But the only way that I was able to change it was to realize that it came from somewhere. Like I did something. Like something happened.
That's what people lack. You see how you said you realized it and you worked on it. So that's the other piece to the self-reflection that I had to grow into, because I was so closed off that I didn't want to address emotions. I just recently told you, addressing emotions for me is new, because I was always taught that you
don't have emotions.
Buttercup.
Look, I'm the same way. I was taught the same thing. You don't cry. Why are you crying?
Like, why are you being soft? Come on. And say it with your chest. Like I was just always
We were
told.
taught to be strong Black women,
Yep.
right? You got this, you good. And so that's something I'm still working on, like being okay to not have it. Like you can fall apart. That's okay. I can cry. That's okay. You know, but we were taught that, you know, and then you take on this, I don't even say it's unrealistic, you take on this massive,
it's an altered reality. It's honestly
massive, like ego, like, because you have to win, like I got this, and it's like
you in the shower and you wipe your face and keep it going and say you got this and I'm good, I don't feel nothing. And that's literally how I've always been.
You become numb because you're taught like you can't have feelings. Like like no one cares about your feelings. Like you said, suck it up, buttercup. Like,
for me growing up, when I used to tell my mother I loved her, she'd be like, what do you want? I don't have no money. I don't have nothing to give you. And it was just like, dang. And again, with the self-reflection or the internal reflections, it comes where once you realize it, you have to allow yourself to get uncomfortable, to address those things that will be able, so you can heal. Because if you don't allow yourself to address it and heal, you're gonna keep continuing on with the pattern. I actually stopped doing New Year's resolutions because when I was younger, my very last New Year's resolution, I told myself I was going to convince my mother to tell me she loved me more. That year, literally January 1st, I counted on one hand how many times my mom told me herself she loved me that year. So I swore I would never do them again. So I not only needed to address pasthood trauma that I didn't. Most people, when they think of trauma, they think, oh, well, were you getting hit? Did you have a black eye? Were you getting this? And no, trauma is not just a physical thing. And people downplay the emotional traumas and the mental traumas. And for me as an adult, I had to go back. And I'm still now, currently today, going back and addressing those things, not just to be better, to help others, but to be the best version of myself and the best mother I can be. Like my kids, I'll randomly call them and I play and, Kamari, come here. And he'll come like, yes, ma'am. Oh, I love you. Oh, okay, mommy. And
I do the same thing with my babies.
Yes.
And I'll say, I love you. And they're like, I love you too. Like, how you know?
How
you know you love me? How you know?
You sure? How long? And my 7-year-old, she has the now she goes and she's used to it. She's like, forever, mommy. Like, I don't want them to question. I remember being that child. Like, why she don't tell me she loved me? Like, first she's scrubbing my face and now she's looking at me with her face balled up.
And I had to learn, because at first I did feel some kind of way. You have to learn that was taught to them.
Exactly.
So that was taught to them, and that's why they do it. So it's not like
it wasn't a personal thing.
It wasn't like, it was taught to them, and they thought that was the right way. So they did the best they could with what they thought was the right way to do it. And so you just have to. But that's why, and even like when you think about the things that you do, you have to, because it comes out in your day to day. It comes out in how you interact with people. It comes out in how
your energy transferring is real. It really does.
Yeah, and like people who have those fears, and people say, "Oh, I'm so afraid to do this." Like that's stuff that you were taught. You were taught. Oh, you making too much noise, or stop talking, or don't talk with adults. Different things that makes you feel less than. Like that comes from a place. It doesn't have to just be your parents. It could have been in school. It could have been, out of school. Like there are people, a lot of people have had situations where teachers have told them like, oh, you'll never be anything. Or you're just like your brother, just like your dad, or whatever the case is. And that's something that I have to like watch. People always say things like, oh, my kid's so bad. Or they say like they speak down on kids. They say you got to watch that.
Yeah.
Because your kids can hear you.
Yeah.
Your kids can hear you, and they start to
internalize that.
Yeah, they'll start to walk in that. How many times have y'all heard that? Oh, my kid's just bad. They just bad. And then you wonder why they turn out bad, because you kept saying they were bad. They turned out
into existence. You put that out there in the atmosphere,
and they heard you. You have to be mindful. Like I'm very careful about what I say, even when my kids do something. I never say you're bad, because they're not bad. You just did something that you shouldn't have done. And so you have to be mindful of how you're talking to your kids, how you're importing in them, and then who you allow
mentally feeding them.
and then who you allow for to speak over them and to speak over you, because people can speak into your life and then you think, oh, this is who I am, and it's like, is it, or are you just letting that, so that's things that I had to question. But like, even when I came into notary, and I had the idea that in order for me to be successful as a business owner, I have to act
a certain way,
and so
I was trying to cut you off.
And I did, but it wasn't acting, because people always say, why do you talk like that? Like, how I talk is how I talk. But like, I'll be like, hi guys, it's still me, but it's more like you don't get to see the what's up. Like, you get hi, like the poise. And so I got that through high school, through middle school. I was always really, because people always say, act professional, act like this, da, 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 da. And so when I went into business, I did the same thing. And I said, well, I'm not gonna make any sales. People aren't gonna buy
from me. You got dreads. How dare you? That's
right?
not professional.
People are not gonna buy from me if I, say slang terminology, or if I, just talk in certain ways or things like that. And so, but that I had to realize, I was listening, I had a coach of mine, she was telling me that only when you become like your genuine you is like when you're really able to prosper. Because if you keep being fake or keep trying to please people, it's gonna crash. Like you can only put on a face.
Not being authentic. Yep.
Yeah, you can only put on a face. So like, when y'all see, this is me. Bye.
It is.
This is me. And you know what? It's easier to be me. Like, I don't have to worry about. Yeah, I could just flow, and I can honestly say it's easier. And I just came to terms with this is just gonna be me. If you like it, you don't like it. Like, I'm over it. And then I noticed when I was doing trying to be somebody I wasn't, I was still getting, I wasn't getting a lot of hate, but people would still say little comments here and there. And I said, if y'all don't talk about me, and
talk about
me.
Take me for who I am. Like it, love it, hate it, leave it. But this is what you.
Yeah, at least talk about me. Like, let it be me. I don't need, I'm not gonna be fake, but it's just good. I really just wanted Annie to share that, because one, it was like, oh my God. And so also, Annie and I are writing an autobiography. She's writing hers. I'm writing mine. And then we're going to do a series, a TV series for it. So she'll have her TV series, I'll have my TV series, and you guys actually get to see our lives. And I think it'll be really good, because I think in this time, everyone's always trying to put on airs. They're trying to act like, they have, no flaws, nothing is wrong. And I think that when you're transparent and you let people see that, yes, I'm successful, but I'm successful in spite of. Like, I got here after all of that.
I'm successful, and I'm still human. I've been through the thick of it too. Because most people look at success and they just like, oh my gosh, there's the glitz and glam. Here's the fame. Here's this. Here's that. She has money. She has this. But this is what I went through. And if I can make it through it, come on, let's help people.
It's funny because people like, every once in a while, I'll let people lean a little bit to see a little bit, and people be like, you went through that? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, how you still this and that? And I'm like, it's just me. Like, I'm just always a happy person. And then also it's that compartmentalization. And then also it goes into I think how we're taught to be strong. Like, so things happen and you get over it and you like, all right, cool. But now I'm like in that phase where I'm dealing with those things. Like, okay, these things happen. Am I processing them the right way? Are they still affecting me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but y'all gonna see when the stories come out, because we didn't got it out the mud. Like, look, the mud. Like, what's dirtier than mud? Like, we got it out the
I just was doing that yesterday.
But I think a lot of people go through, just different things. And then I hear people's stories who are like, in my opinion, are like way worse than mine. And, they still got out of it. They still, made a life for themselves. And so we have to, Annie, tell them your Instagram.
So my personal Instagram is I_am_Anna, ANA, Antoinette, which is my middle name, ANTOINETTE. But my business Instagram is Serene Signatures LLC.
Serene Signatures LLC. Yeah. And she
does.
Yeah.
Huh?
I was gonna say you do the motivational videos every day.
Oh, so yes, I do put up motivational. I call them my reminders for life and my affirmations. So some of them I write myself and I say them, but 90% is what. So I have this awesome friend. I cannot just take credit myself. I have to give him his due credit. He sends me affirmations every morning, and I get them. Like I have an app on my phone. I get them and I say them to myself. But I've been using the ones that he sends me or whatever connects honestly that day, and that's what I put on my business Instagram page. Serene Signatures LLC is my IG and my Facebook page. So I'm actually going to be starting my YouTube channel. Thanks for encouragement from my baby cakes. I'm going to be starting my YouTube channel for affirmations, and it's not just going to be like a daily affirmation thing. It's also going to be a share. It's going to be a transparency, because I want people to see where I came from and what I went through and how I get here. So I'm going to do my morning meditations. I do it every morning for 10 minutes to clear my mind. A lot of people don't know. First 20 minutes of your day, what you feed yourself is typically how your day is going to continue to go. So that is what I am working on now for my personal side. You said what, baby?
Our movies are going to be good.
They're going to be pretty dope, because just like what you said, a lot of people, they look at you, especially with your story, and you are way out there and like, oh my goodness, you went through that and you went through this. And I honestly did not think I had a calling to really help people until one year I went to therapy and my therapist cried and I consoled her about my story, my struggle, and what I went through. I never went back after that, but that last session I consoled her. She just looked at me like, where do you get your hope from, or how do you encourage
that? Yeah, but I think that our ability, or I don't know what you call it, our inner being to be able to persevere through is a gift. And I think that, how they say everything happens for a reason. If we didn't have a story to tell, then what, it's like all those things happen so that we would have a story to tell, so that we can help other people going through things like that, because we're able to come out of it and then say, this is how you deal.
This is how you. And we fall short sometimes. Sometimes we need to pick up. I dragged you a lot in the beginning because I was negative Nancy. I didn't know I was going
You did.
I was depressed. And that's a whole, that's an episode in itself. Because
But we made it through that.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, I don't know how to post this, but somebody asked to post
what's your Instagram?
It's which one? The personal business.
No, Serene Signatures
LLC.
But we're both writing our book, so stay on top of us because we got to finish at the same time. I think we can finish this year. You finishing this year?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
All right. So by the end of the year, our books will be done, and then we're gonna turn it into a mini series, and then it'll be like, all right, my episode gonna drop, and her episode gonna drop, and then like a week. All right, now my episode and her episode. Trust me,
this team.
It's gonna be good. I was talking to the videographer that was gonna do it, and he was like, "Yo." Then he was like, one thing that you better make sure you clear this with everybody. And I said, I ain't gotta clear with everybody, just with some people. And I'm gonna change people's names and stuff.
You can put my real name.
It's gonna be good though. I feel like it's definitely gonna help. And he was definitely, when I was telling him everything, he was just like, yo, how were you even? And I was just saying it casually. So this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and this happened, and that was just like, he was just like, are you freaking kidding me? And I was like, no. So
it was normal. That was what you knew. So it wasn't anything that was like a red flag to
Elena, you. Calm down. Okay, go check on the thing for me. All right, y'all. I just want to talk and
I need what do we do that like when we say we're gonna start working out and that accountability partner?
You said when we're gonna do what?
I need an accountability partner. I need you to hold me accountable to do this YouTube video. Start my YouTube channel before the end of the week.
I got you. I got you. So my Instagram, y'all know, it's notary to notary. My personal is, what's my personal? Miss Terry. So MRZ_Terry. I don't know your personal one. What you say?
My personal is the I am Anna
Oh.
Instagram. Let me see. I think I changed it to Mia Moore.
I'm gonna tag you on a post. That's what I'm gonna do. That's easier.
Because I think it should be changed to MIAMOR, Mia Moore.
I'm gonna tag you on a post. They can
Or
follow
Anna
you.
Mia Moore.
Yeah.
Yep, it's Anna, ANAMIAMOR. You'll see my
There
picture
you
right
go.
there.
All right. Well, call me. We can get off the phone off this live. Then just call me. Be awesome on purpose, guys. And we love you guys. And we hope we helped.
Thanks for listening. Bye, guys.
Soul searching now. Question
Got a word for today.
Got a word for the day. You're so silly. Happy signing.